At Christmas, my mom showed our old photo albums to my fiancé. He froze, grabbed my hand, and whispered, "Don't you see it?" "See what? How can you not see it?" He showed me, and I couldn't unsee it. 5 hours later, I called the police. But what my parents didn't know was that I'm a forensic photo analyst for the FBI. And I just realized every single photo of my childhood was fake. But here's the twist that destroyed me. I found the original missing person flyer. My real name was Melena Petrovic, and my biological mother had been searching for me for 25 years. I always thought if something life-shattering happened to me, something worth telling a therapist or documentary crew, it would come with cinematic music. You know, that low, ominous hum, building tension, maybe a thunderclap for dramatic effect. Instead, there was potato salad, overcooked lamb, my mom humming Mariah Carey while wiping kitchen counters like she hadn't just weaponized nostalgia for the 20th consecutive year. No thunder, just that weird smell our house always has during holidays, lemon cleaner mixed with something vaguely burnt and the psychological residue of family dysfunction. I wasn't expecting anything revelatory. That's the cruel irony of truth. It ambushes you during mundane moments. I walked in like I always do, smiled like I always do, pretended this wouldn't be another annual reminder that I've never quite fit into the family frame. My fiancé Lucas was his usual observant self, quiet, analytical, the kind of man who makes a living noticing details other people miss. I'd brought him specifically because I thought he could anchor me through another holiday minefield. The joke was definitely on me. My sister Nina was already there, swirling wine and wearing something beige and expensive that probably cost more than my rent. Her boyfriend nodded at appropriate intervals like a well-programmed accessory. My parents smiled with that practiced warmth that never quite reaches their eyes. But here's what I didn't tell you in that opening. I'm not just anyone analyzing these photos. I'm a forensic image analyst for the FBI. I spend my days detecting digital manipulation, identifying doctored evidence, spotting the invisible seams where truth gets surgically removed and lies get grafted in its place. So when Lucas saw what I professionally couldn't see about my own life, the irony was devastating. Dinner was familiar territory, stretched over dry roast and sharp wine. The kind of meal where everyone performs their assigned family role with Academy Award precision. Mom asked Nina about her new marketing job. Dad questioned Lucas about computers, like he'd never encountered a millennial before. No one asked me anything substantial, but that's standard operating procedure. I used to get upset about being invisible. Now, I just count how long it takes them to forget I exist. This year, 9 minutes, a new record. After dessert, Mom did her annual performance. She clapped her hands with theatrical surprise and announced, "I brought the photo albums out." Like it was spontaneous, instead of a holiday tradition orchestrated with military precision. She always brings the albums, always pretends she just happened to find them in the hallway closet under dish towels. We all smile like we haven't examined these same stained pages hundreds of times before. Nina leaned in with award show enthusiasm. Her boyfriend activated his interested face. Lucas sat beside me, unusually quiet. I found myself watching him more than the pictures, studying his micro-expressions, the way I analyze suspect photos at work. First album. Birthdays, beach trips, awkward school photos, standard family documentation. Second album. Nina as a baby, Mom glowing with new parent joy, Dad proudly displaying his genetic legacy. The photos had that authentic quality I recognize professionally. Natural lighting variations, consistent shadow patterns, emotional authenticity captured in unguarded moments. Third album, Me. That's when Lucas changed. Not dramatically. I'm trained to notice subtle behavioral shifts. His shoulders tensed. He squinted at one page, then another. His head tilted, exactly like it does when he's examining code for bugs. Analytical. Suspicious. He was scanning. Measuring. Processing visual data. Without looking at me, he grabbed my hand under the table. "Don't you see it?" he whispered. I blinked, confused. See what? How can you not see it? His voice carried that tone people use when they've discovered something obviously wrong that everyone else is missing. He dropped my hand and resumed flipping pages like nothing happened, smiling and nodding at Mom's commentary about how I once tried to feed a pine cone to a stray cat. I sat, frozen. My ears were ringing. I tried matching his casual rhythm, maintaining my smile, but it felt like wearing skin backwards. When I leaned in and asked again, he shook his head slightly. "I'll explain later," he said quietly. "Just go along with it." Which, honestly, was the emotional motto of my entire childhood. We left 20 minutes later. Lucas manufactured some excuse about an early flight, or maybe it was a late Zoom call. The details blurred because I was operating on professional autopilot, cataloging behavioral data while my personal world tilted sideways. Mom fussed about us leaving early. Dad displayed his usual indifference. Nina didn't look up from her phone. I kissed everyone goodbye like I wasn't unraveling internally. In the car, Lucas reached into his coat and extracted several loose photos. He must have taken them from the pile beside the albums while I was playing the dutiful daughter. I hadn't even noticed, which given my professional training was disturbing. "Look," he said, handing me the first one. It showed me in a pink coat, standing in front of a stone wall. I recognized it. The image lived in my memory like bad wallpaper. "What?" I said. "It's just a photo." He handed me two more. Same face, same angle, same smile, same shadows. "Look closer." I looked. Really looked. Applied my professional eye instead of my daughter's acceptance. And then I saw it. It was me. The exact same version of me, digitally copy-pasted into different settings. One in front of a fence, one by a swing set, one at a fountain. But the expression never changed. Not one facial muscle. The lighting was wrong. The shadows didn't match the environments. "They reused my face," I said. My voice sounded strange, like it came from someone else's throat. He nodded grimly, then handed me another photo. A baby with pale skin, lighter hair, completely different bone structure. "That's not you," he said. "I don't think they ever had baby pictures of you." The final photo. Me with Mom and Dad in front of some building. My outline was fuzzy, the shadows were inconsistent. I looked like a sticker someone forgot to properly adhere. I stared at it, then laughed. Not real laughter, the sound you make when something fundamental breaks in your brain. "So I'm a collage," I said. "That's fun." Lucas didn't laugh. "Why would they fake this?" I couldn't answer. I was too busy having a professional crisis. Here I was, someone who detects photo manipulation for a living, and I'd never noticed that my entire childhood was digitally fabricated. The worst part? These weren't even sophisticated fakes. Any first-year forensics student would have spotted the inconsistencies immediately. But when it's your own life, your own family, you don't apply professional skepticism. You just accept. I didn't know it yet, but 5 hours later, I'd be calling police, not as a daughter seeking answers, but as a federal agent reporting a potential kidnapping. The thing about denial is that it doesn't shatter dramatically. It leaks slowly, like a pipe everyone agrees not to discuss. You know it's dripping, you hear it, smell it, but you keep washing your hands and walking away. I stared at those photos all night. Lucas eventually fell asleep, but I remained motionless, like a child waiting for monsters to emerge from closets, except the monsters already had names, Mom and Dad. The photos were lined up on my nightstand. I kept checking them, like they might fix themselves when I wasn't looking. They didn't. My face remained pasted, triplicated, frozen in some preset expression I didn't remember making. Then it hit me, not like lightning, but like a whisper I couldn't ignore. I had no idea where I came from. I mean that literally. I have no memories before age 5. None. When I was younger, I thought that was normal, or at least explainable. My parents said it was war trauma. I was little. The brain protects itself. They said many things. And I believed them because, what's the alternative? Telling your second-grade teacher you think you skipped being a toddler? My earliest memory, standing in a fluorescent-lit hallway in a new country, my mom telling me to smile at someone holding a clipboard. The immigration office, the buzz of lights, everything loud and cold and wrong. I didn't understand English yet, but I understood the look in her eyes. Perform. From there, life was normal, or as normal as it could be. Small apartment, school enrollment, packed lunches without notes, just perfectly folded napkins. Dad reading newspapers like they owed him money. They worked hard, provided necessities. But love? That was something else entirely. When Nina was born 2 years later, the house temperature changed overnight. Suddenly, baby books, camcorder footage, scrapbooks with glitter letters, birthday parties with coordinated themes, spa days, hugs, warmth. None of that had existed for me, ever. With me, it was always, you're strong, you're independent, you never needed much. Which translates to, we didn't give you much. I used to rationalize it. I was older, first child, they were figuring things out. But now, I wasn't sure. No extended family, no visitors from the old country, no return trips. My parents claimed they had no one left. War scattered everyone, they'd say when I asked. Then there was the Facebook message I'd almost forgotten about. I was 15, walking into the kitchen when I saw Mom at the laptop staring at a message in Serbian. A woman's name I didn't recognize. Hearts in the message. Mom's face went blank. She deleted it, blocked the sender, closed the laptop. Who was that? I asked. Spam, she said. But spam doesn't make your hand shake. At 17, I was diagnosed with PTSD, nightmares, panic attacks, persistent fear that something terrible was about to happen. My therapist asked about the war. I said I didn't remember it. She said that was probably why I had PTSD. Except now, I know I wasn't scared of war. I was scared of her. Of them. That night, as I sat at our kitchen table studying Lucas's stolen photos, one memory blinked to life like a flashlight in darkness. A woman. Not my mother, not the one who raised me, someone else. Softer face, dark eyes. She smelled like citrus. I was holding her hand. Then the woman I grew up calling Mom walked in, younger, smiling like she'd just arrived at a party. The first woman leaned down and said in Serbian, "This is your babysitter." That was the first time I met her. Another flash. Me pulling on a coat, crying, saying, "I want Mama." A hand on my shoulder, tight. "Don't say that again. If you talk about her, you disappear." I remember those words now, buried under years of being told to smile for cameras. Then, screaming. I was in a strange bed, legs kicking, chest burning, calling for her, the woman who smelled like citrus. Another voice, cold, enough. The panic lasted minutes, or centuries. Lucas found me on the kitchen floor, gasping, palms flat against tiles, like I was trying to anchor myself to reality. Somewhere in the middle of that breakdown, still on the floor with vision swimming, I reached for my phone and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? My chest was caving in. No sound came out initially. Lucas knelt beside me, one hand on my back, trying to steady my breathing. "I've been kidnapped," I finally forced out. Sharp pause. "Ma'am, are you safe right now?"
I think so. I'm home.
"Is the person who took you with you now?" "No. It was a long time ago. I think I just remembered it." Gentle shift in tone. "Okay, take a breath for me. You're not in danger right now." "No, but it's real. I remember now. They weren't my parents." Lucas took the phone. "Hi, this is her fiancé. She's having a panic attack. She's been uncovering evidence, childhood photos that are clearly manipulated, no authentic documentation, suspicious inconsistencies. She just recovered what appears to be suppressed memories. She believes she was abducted around age 5, approximately 25 years ago, outside the U.S. Here's what I didn't mention in my opening. I gave Lucas additional information to relay: my FBI credentials, my security clearance number, my supervisor's direct contact. Because when a federal agent reports potential kidnapping involving international child trafficking, the response is different. The operator stayed professional. "I understand. What's your location?" Lucas provided our address. "I'm logging this as a welfare check and forwarding to our investigative unit. Given the federal law enforcement connection, you'll receive contact from multiple agencies. If either of you feels unsafe meanwhile, call immediately." The next morning brought more than an email. FBI Special Agent Martinez called personally, not just because I'm a colleague, but because photo manipulation evidence, combined with recovered memories of international child abduction, triggers specific federal protocols. "We're treating this seriously," Martinez said. "I'm assigning a team. We'll need comprehensive interviews, professional photo analysis, immigration record examination." Lucas read the email twice. "It's real now," he said. Real, like it hadn't been real when I was curled on kitchen tiles, trying to remember if I'd ever had a mother. The knock came 2 days later. 3 measured taps. I opened the door to find my parents. Mom, holding a brown paper bag like she was delivering cookies. Dad with hands in coat pockets, face neutral.
Can we come in?
Mom asked, already stepping forward. Lucas appeared beside me. I nodded slowly. They sat on our couch like uncomfortable guests. Mom placed the bag on our coffee table. "I brought soup, that carrot one you liked when you were sick." The time I was 8 and she told me to stop crying because I wasn't dying. That soup. "Thanks," I said flatly. She smoothed her coat, looking around our apartment like the furniture might provide conversation topics. Dad remained standing. "We spoke to the police," she said finally. "They said you filed a report." "I did." She looked like she wanted a fence but lacked energy. "You should have come to us first." "Would you have told me the truth?" Pause. Blink. "We didn't want to hurt you." Lucas spoke. "So it's true." Dad finally stepped forward. "Yes," he said. "You're not biologically ours." I exhaled through my nose. Not relief. Just confirmation of something I knew but needed external validation. Mom nodded. "Your mother was young, very young. She couldn't take care of you. She begged us to take you with us." "Begged?" I said. "She wanted you to have a better life. We were leaving, she was staying behind. It was war. She knew what that meant." "Where is she now?" "We don't know." "You never checked?" "It was complicated." Lucas crossed his arms. "Why fake the photos?" Dad didn't flinch. "We didn't want her to feel like she didn't belong." "So you erased her real life and invented one?" Lucas pressed. Mom's voice cracked. "You were 5. You cried for her for weeks. It was awful. But you adjusted. You forgot. We thought it was better." "You could have told me the truth." "And say what?" Mom snapped. "That we took you from your mother? That you had a life you'd never remember? You would have hated us." "You think I don't now?" Silence. Then she pulled something from her bag. A photo. Me, maybe 6, holding Dad's hand. "This one's real," she said. Like that fixed everything. I didn't touch it. They stood to leave. Dad looked at Lucas, then me. "We didn't steal you. We rescued you." I didn't respond. Neither did Lucas. For 10 seconds, I almost believed them. Then my FBI training kicked in. "Tell me her name." Mom blinked like she didn't understand the question. Dad rubbed his face, his usual gesture when exhausted by having to deal with me. "You were 5, Mom said. Your memories aren't reliable. Try me." She shook her head. "We didn't want to hurt you. You already did." They looked at each other, then Dad said the name like a confession. Melena Petrovic. No address, no contact, just the name. When I asked for more, Mom said, "We lost touch. It was war." Right. War erases Google search capabilities. After they left, I didn't rely on civilian internet searches. I used federal databases, FBI missing persons records, Interpol files, immigration documentation, State Department refugee databases, resources unavailable to ordinary citizens. Melena Petrovic wasn't uncommon, but combining it with time period, geographical region, and refugee status narrowed results significantly. I found her in the State Department database first, Resettlement Application 1999, approved for U.S. immigration. Family with children received priority. Application subsequently withdrawn after child went missing. Child's name, Melena Petrovic. Age 5. Last seen in Sarajevo, 1999. I stared at that screen until Lucas found me hours later, still frozen at our computer. She was coming here, I whispered. She had approval to immigrate with me. Then I disappeared and they removed her from the program. Lucas leaned over my shoulder. They didn't just take you from her, they stole her entire future. Finding her current contact took additional federal resources, but I found her, living in a small Serbian town, working at a bakery, never married, no other children. The video call felt surreal. I wrapped myself in a blanket, feeling like I was about to meet someone from a dream I didn't know I'd had. Her face appeared on screen, older than database photos, tired, but unmistakably me. Or rather, I was unmistakably her. She didn't speak initially, just stared. Her hand went to her mouth like she needed to contain something. "I wasn't sure," she said finally. "But now that I see you..." I wanted to speak, but words stuck behind the lump in my throat. "I've been looking for you for 25 years," she continued. "Your name wasn't Isabelle then. It was Melena." Melena. It didn't sound familiar, but felt right, like clothing I hadn't worn in decades that still fit perfectly. "Did you give me up?" I asked. Her face broke, not dramatically, just quiet collapse in her expression. "No," she said. "God, no." She looked away briefly, grounding herself, then turned back. "You were 5. I had to leave you with someone I trusted, a neighbor, a friend, just for a couple hours while I finalized immigration papers at the municipal office. When I came back, you were gone." Her voice cracked. "They said your babysitter left early, said you went with her, but you never came home. We searched everywhere. Police stations, refugee camps. I posted flyers, called shelters. Everyone said children get lost during war, but I knew you didn't get lost." She paused. "I just didn't know where to look." Lucas asked the crucial question. "Did you ever apply to leave the country?" She nodded. "I was approved for U.S. resettlement. Families with children got priority. I had everything ready." She looked directly at me. "But after you disappeared, they removed me from the list. Not that I would have left without you anyway." That's when it hit me harder than any recovered memory. That's why they took me. Why they needed me specifically. They edited me into those photos like I was the final puzzle piece because I was their ticket out. Their immigration application required a child. They didn't take me because they loved me. They took me because I got them to America. We sat in silence after that revelation. Her eyes were red. Mine probably were too. Lucas just sat beside me like he was trying to hold the room's edges together. "I never knew where you went," she said softly. "I thought maybe you died. I didn't know what to hope for." "They changed my name," I said, instead of addressing the deeper pain. "Isabelle." She nodded like the sound hurt. "Melena was your grandmother's name." I felt hollow, like someone had reached inside and scooped everything out, but politely left the shell so I could continue functioning publicly. 2 weeks later, we stood side by side at the FBI field office. She wore a navy coat. I brought the manipulated photos as evidence. Special Agent Martinez took our statements. My real mother unfolded a creased missing person flyer from her purse, original documentation from 1999. My first name printed beneath a grainy photo, Melena Petrovic, age 5, last seen wearing red scarf. "This is her," she told Martinez. "This is my daughter." For the first time in 25 years, someone in authority nodded in confirmation. We pressed federal charges, not just kidnapping, immigration fraud, falsifying federal documents, concealing child abduction across international borders, human trafficking. It didn't go to trial. They pled guilty during investigation phase. Turns out, they never surrendered their Serbian passports, just tucked them in a drawer next to their moral compass. Their American citizenship was revoked, deported within 6 months. No appeals, no second chances. They can never return. Nina stayed, obviously, born here, legitimate citizen. Initially, she didn't say much, just stared at floors during our few conversations. Then one day she came over. That was really messed up. Not exactly an apology, but acknowledgement. We talk more now than we did growing up. She's not my biological sister, but she knows how I take coffee. That counts for something. Mara, my real mother, immigrated 6 months later through family reunification programs. Lucas and I helped with paperwork. She found work at a bakery near our apartment. Says it reminds her of the one she worked at when she was 21, before everything happened.
We're planning our wedding. She's on the guest list. She cried receiving the invitation.
The people who raised me lost everything. Honestly, they built their life on lies, so when it collapsed, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. Here's what I learned. The most sophisticated criminals aren't the ones using cutting-edge technology. They're the ones who understand that love creates blind spots, that family loyalty disables critical thinking, that children accept whatever reality adults construct for them. My professional training taught me to detect lies in photographs, but it took my fiancé's outside perspective to see the lies in my own life. The irony isn't lost on me. I spent my career uncovering other people's deceptions while living inside the biggest deception of all. But here's the thing about truth. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you know your real name, you can't pretend to be someone else anymore. So what do you think? Did I go too far or not far enough? And here's something that might shock you. This happens more than you think. Immigration fraud involving child trafficking. Families built on stolen identities, children who grow up never knowing their real names. If something feels wrong about your family history, trust that instinct. If photos don't quite look right, if stories don't add up, if you have gaps in memory that don't make sense, investigate. Because sometimes the people who claim they're protecting you are actually the ones you need protection from. Tell me in the comments, have you ever discovered something about your family that changed everything? And if you're adopted or have questions about your origins, what steps have you taken to find the truth? Don't forget to subscribe, because everyone deserves to know their real name.